What up guys, my name is Damian Seitz and today we're talking about the M6 Mark II. The Canon M6 Mark II is a 32.5 megapixel APS type C sensor, so it is a crop sensor, not full frame. It has a 14 frames per second continuous shooting with a 30 frames per second raw burst shooting. It is a Ultra HD 4K at 24 frames per second, all the way up to 60 frames per second, as well as a 120 frames per second in that glorious 1080p for that beautiful, beautiful slow motion. Now that we got all the basic boring specs out of the way, I'm gonna give you my actual thoughts on this camera. Dang it, I was trying. Are you recording?
Yeah.
I was trying so hard to get as close as I could to that squirrel. Okay, so I think the Canon M6 is probably the best vlog camera, or one of the best vlog cameras that you can choose to get. Here's a few reasons why. The 4K 24 frames per second coming out of this camera is fantastic, and I think that it produces a really beautiful image.
Well,
as I was saying, the 4K 24 frames per second that comes out of this camera produces a beautiful image, in my opinion. Now, there's no C-Log, but you can use a neutral color profile or down something like the Cine style or the Marvel style and program that into your camera to kind of get that flat color profile if you're into color grading. The pros to this camera honestly is it does produce a fantastic image. It does have the full HD 120 frames per second, which you can get some smooth slow motion, and that's been something I've been kind of getting into lately with a lot of my B-roll segments, trying to get that slow motion. I used it in the last video I did, or a couple videos ago, depending on when I put this up, when I was reviewing this hat, and it worked out and just, it looked so good. The only cons I really have with this camera, personal cons that I have, is that the screen flips, it flips up. And if you're a person new to vlogging and you need to be able to view yourself, but you also want to be able to attach an external microphone or a viewfinder if you're also doing photography while you're out and about, then you're never going to be able to use this back screen. Never. But after a while, to be honest, it's something that hasn't been too much of a problem with me because I kind of am used to what I'm doing and I know what settings I'm supposed to be on and what things are supposed to be looking like. So I don't have too much of a problem with that. But that is a major con and probably one of my worst complaints. The other big con for me is this camera is not weather sealed, which means that you really don't want to take it out into harsh conditions. I kind of still do because I value getting the shot or getting the footage over the actual gear itself. I'm not saying that's smart, but you can destroy this camera if you go out into a heavy downpour, if you drop it in some slush or snow and you get water down in there, it's gonna be a bad day. Okay, so I'm about to switch over to this to finish out the rest of this video, or at least most of the rest of this video, so you can see what this is gonna be looking like. This is what the camera comes with. Kit lens, 15 to 45 millimeter. It starts at an f3.5. Normally, typically, I have an external mic and I have an ND filter, a Peter McKinnon ND filter on the front of this. But so you can kind of see what you're getting straight out the package. If you were to pick this camera up, I'm gonna show you what the in-body audio sounds like, what the kit lens looks like on this camera in 4K 24p. So we're gonna switch over to this right now. So I have my flip up screen rocking and rolling, which is kind of weird for me because I normally never get to use it because I always have an external microphone on it. But this is what you get. This is the type of image quality you get coming out of it. I really like it. I really dig it, especially for vlogging. And there's some things you can do to it to make it a little more cinematic, a little bit nice. You can color grade, you can kind of play with those types of settings, which I do sometimes when I'm shooting short films in the past, or when I've done work on other projects. Like my Hawaii video, I color graded a lot of that just to make certain areas pop a little bit more. A few more pros about this camera is that it's really small and compact, and it's really lightweight, which means you don't necessarily need a big oversized camera bag like I carry. You could throw this thing into a jacket pocket if it's big enough. You could throw this thing into a purse or into a man purse, which I carry a lot, so no judgment. and it's really light, it's really easy. You can kind of get away if you're uncomfortable vlogging in public with this camera too, because it is kind of slides under the radar. When you go inside an aquarium, a zoo, or you're just out in a busy area, it's not going to draw as much attention as a big old DSLR, or you know, you don't even have to throw it on a tripod. I don't have it on a tripod now. It has great image stabilization. So I know you're probably thinking, well, Damien, you haven't really given too many negatives about this camera, and that's because I'm not too critical when it comes to the price point of this camera. This isn't a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 camera. This is a camera that the body itself, when I picked it up brand new when it first came out, was $850. And for that price, I have been more than satisfied. It has Canon's beautiful color science. It has their dual pixel autofocus. It has the eye tracking. It does just a really, really good job for everything that I need it to. I'm sure that there's a lot of reviews out there where people talk about a lot of different negative sides to it, but the truth is when you come in at $850 US, it's really not that much to complain about when you really think about it. There are a lot of other cameras out there that you could buy that are more expensive and not as good quality. So overall, I'm really impressed with the Canon M6 Mark II, and I'm gonna continue to use it. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, I hope you like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how I'm doing, because reviews are honestly still something very new to my channel. Typically I stick to more just the vlogs, out here capturing the life, you know what I mean? But I decided that I wanted to start sprinkling these things in here and bring you guys new, fresh content. So I'm going to continue it because I also enjoy making these kinds of reviews. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.